Just a heads up, I was talking from an American point of view. I forgot that Ezra said that he's from Australia. So if any Australian is in the audience, please let me know your perspective of this. Before I begin, I want to say that I used the term feminist in a negative light in this video. I meant radical feminist, but I'm too lazy to say it. And when I'm talking about feminism in a positive light, I'm talking about first and second wave feminism. Who will we be looking at today? Mr. Sandman. It's the most popular MGTOW on YouTube. He is to me what Riley Dennis is to anti-SJWs, a lol cow and low-hanging fruit. Expect me to curse a lot because his idiocy is so frustrating. I think it's important for men to see that MGTOW are idiots.
Hi everyone, Sandman here. This video is brought to you by a donation from Ezra, and here's what he has to say. Hey Sandman, Ezra here from the formerly masculine nation called Australia. I want to thank you for opening up my eyes to the horrors of female nature unleashed in the gynocentric vaginisty. Your videos were my first red pill, swallowed almost 4 years ago. I came to your channel by accident after another argument with a crazy ex-wife that drove me to the bar for solace and peace. In desperation and unhappiness, I started Googling various terms, and discovered the legendary "Post here if you hate your life" Reddit thread.
Okay, massive red flag. Ezra discovered Sandman when he was upset with a woman.
In 13 years, my relationship with my ex-wife went from great to nothing but nagging, shaming language, shit-testing, gaslighting, and walking on eggshells.
Red flag number 2. When I hear guys complain about their wives nagging them, but they won't tell you what she was nagging them for, I suspect it was something legitimate.
After the birth of our 2 children, she withdrew all affection, and I was reduced to being just a resource and utility.
Let me get this straight. Ezra is mad that his wife might have been too busy raising children to fuck him, and Ezra is mad that his wife expected him to provide for his family? What the fuck?
6 months ago, I had to leave as I actually felt like I was going insane, and now she's using access to my own children as a weapon to control me.
Let me get this straight. You leave the family, complain about being a provider, and you're shocked that she doesn't want you around the kids.
I'm 50 years of age, I've lost my house, pretty much everything I own, and being present in my children's daily lives.
How did you lose your house? You're the one who left.
It's going to be tough to bounce back from this. But
considering you walked out on your family and complained about being a provider, I'm starting to think she wants you to pay child support before you try talking to your kids for an hour and then leaving again.
Sandman, can you please say here to all men to never ever get married?
How is marriage a bad idea just because you didn't do your part as a husband and a father? Don't expect women to act like women when you don't want to be a man.
Unless, of course, you are a soy boy mangina who wants to have his heart ripped out through his backside, his finances ruined and his children taken away. But enough about me. Now that Cucktoot has demonetized your channel, please accept my monthly Patreon pledge as thanks for all you do. For this topic, can you speak on the growing tide of women out there, one of whom is my ex-wife, who claims they are not feminists? That is, of course, unless it suits them to be.
I am better than everybody! Beautiful, no matter what they say!
Well, Ezra, thanks for your donation as well as your topic. I'm sorry to hear about you being 50 years of age and having to start all over again. I almost feel guilty for waking you up while you were married and miserable. But you leaving your wife is the 27th divorce I actually helped cause by getting the guy to leave.
Wait a minute, wait a fucking minute. You are the same people who complain about women initiating the divorce. People, this is why you never take MGTOW seriously. They are disingenuous and they will blame women for everything.
Anyways, now back to Ezra and his feeling that all women are feminists even though they say they're not. Just like most women will say they aren't feminists, even if they think that the orange man equals bad for women. Of course, they won't actually give up on the vote, which was won and fought for by first-wave feminists. They also won't give up on contraception and the right to work, which was fought by the second-wave feminists. They probably won't stand up against affirmative action laws. For example, in the education system, that means that most classes are taught by female teachers.
So when most CEOs are men, that's just nature. But when most teachers are women, that's not fair. And people wonder why I compare MGTOW to feminazis all the time. This is why. I'm about to have an aneurysm because I cannot stand hypocrites.
Just because your ex-wife, Ezra, said that she was not a feminist doesn't mean that she wasn't suckling off the teat of feminism when she used the feminist family courts to take you for everything you have.
He left the marriage, he sounds like a loser, and he probably doesn't pay child support. And unless MGTOW can prove otherwise, 90% of separated parents don't even use the court system to settle differences.
Just because an escort doesn't call herself a prostitute doesn't mean that she's not a prostitute. If women want to stop being feminists, then they need to give up on the things that feminists fought so hard to steal from men, like their children a fair wage and equal treatment under the laws in marriage.
MGTOW will celebrate men all day for being builders of society, but will whine when women are the main caretakers of children. Not only does this show that MGTOW don't care about facts, this also shows that they don't care about children. In America, men still make more than women on average. How are you not getting a fair wage?
So all women are feminists just like all lions are carnivores. Ezra, I wouldn't say that all women are actually part-time feminists, though. I would say that they're full-time feminists that are also full-time in disguise.
Sandman is describing Narwhal. It's when someone proves that not all women are evil man-hating parasites, MGTOW will claim those women are wolves in sheep's clothing. Why? Because MGTOW are the embodiment of fragile male egos.
The best place for a feminist to hide is in a men's rights meeting.
So I'm not acknowledging his insults to women in the men's rights activist group because I don't identify as that. I just identify as being against feminism, being against social justice warriors, and being against MGTOW. In other words, I'm just against bigotry of all kinds. I'm not in favor of any one pro-identity politics group.
So if you call a female anti-feminist a secret feminist, she will have her activism to provide a cover of plausible deniability.
How are people going to tell me that MGTOW aren't misogynist when the most famous MGTOW is mad that women don't want to be second-class citizens anymore? And this is what I mean by the concept of narwhal. Even when a woman, even when she proves that she stands up for men and has a long history to prove that she will fight feminists for the rights of men, Sandman will still not believe her because, God forbid, she still wants equality.
I remember years ago making a video saying that something along the lines of that women are like vultures or hyenas waiting for the lion to take down the zebra and have his fill. Then they would come in after and eat the remains of the carcass.
But as soon as I say men are murderous rapists, MGTOW get triggered and cry their little eyes out, crying, "Not all men are like that, you stupid bitch! Don't blame me for their actions!"
I really must have hit a nerve if I said that female anti-feminists were just waiting around hoping that if men got their rights back,
Men never lost their rights, you dumb fuck beta bitch.
that they would be in the best position to profit off of such a situation. I was taken aback because it confirmed to me that I was onto something, and that I was making a big enough point that I was a threat to the men's rights movement.
Of course you're a threat. You're trying to push away their allies. More proof that MGTOW care nothing about men. While real men are trying to fight feminism, MGTOW are sitting there whining like a soy boy. Even beta males are more ballsy than you. You don't even deserve to be called men. That's why I came up with the term beta bitch. You're a bunch of beta bitches.
As far as I'm concerned, all women are feminists, and that includes women that say they're not, as well as most women that are part of the men's rights movement. The only woman I would actually say isn't, based on her words, is Karen Strawn.
Oh my God. You'll trust Karen's words, but you won't trust other women's actions. You fucking hypocrite.
As men, we generally respond to direct words and actions, so our half of the species seems to be very poorly designed to understand deception and power behind the scenes. At least most of us anyways. While we're busy fighting each other for status and resources so we can take care of the women we are with, we divide ourselves naturally.
Wait, so you're saying men shouldn't be competitive? Because that's a woman's concept. Women think that men shouldn't compete. Isn't it womanly to think that everyone should get a participation trophy? Are you saying that everything a man does is for a woman?
Our individuality divides us and makes us easily conquerable as a collective, especially by a bunch of ideological feminists fighting Marxist cultural wars. Most of us men have no idea that we're actually losing it. Many more men have no idea that we're even in a war.
Exactly. You're losing the culture war, so you need more people to help you win it. If it wasn't for white women voting for Trump and even more women sitting out in the 2016 election, Hillary Clinton would be president. Since MGTOW are always complaining about women being the majority of voters, it would benefit men to have more female allies.
The red pilling process is vital to men. So if we first learn that we are in the Cold War with women, and second that all women are feminists because they enjoy the fruits of previous feminist actions, and they aren't willing to give an inch of what they've gained, this is a major weakness. Their unwillingness to give up anything.
No, it's you hating women so much that you don't care that you're hurting men in the process. You are just as detrimental to society as feminists. The only difference is that you don't have a sugar daddy to fund your stupid group. Again, more proof that MGTOW like Sandman are sexists who hate the fact that women have equal rights.
My prediction is that women will eventually try and advance on something like loverbots that free men, and men will most likely have no idea that women are threatened by some fake silicon floozy. When men see women's irrational attacks against dolls and robots, more men will eventually wake up.
This shows how misogynistic you are, that you only think women are good for sex. And that you are so horny and so obsessed with women that you need to fuck metal to get women off your mind. For a group of guys who complain about male suicide, you sure want them to have less people to emotionally support them. I will also be talking about this in another video. It's no different than women being concerned about porn addiction. Also, men should also be concerned.
Women have grown so cocky, and they don't even have cocks. They're like an army that's never been defeated for over 100 years. But ironically, their victories are nothing more than shit tests, and they're begging men for a metaphorical defeat.
There is no gender war. There's a war between the bourgeoisie and the proletarians. But both MGTOW and feminists are too stupid to realize that.
They know that robots and artificial wombs are a threat and will move to make such technologies illegal. But technology is another one of their Achilles' heels, otherwise they would have made pornography and MGTOW illegal by now too.
Artificial wombs can be dangerous still, and you don't care about children. So Sandman believes that women don't enjoy porn. All women are feminists. Feminists hate porn. So he must conclude that all women hate porn. Men, isn't this more than enough evidence that Sandman doesn't know a damn thing about women?
As for you, Ezra, I feel really sorry for you having to suffer at your age the way that you are. But I also know that your marriage drove you to probably suffer in far worse ways. You're right for saying that guys shouldn't get married because we actually do suffer if we stay, and we suffer if we go.
Guys suffer in a marriage when they're immature little shits that only think about themselves. Not to say that men never get screwed over, but MGTOW is a haven for men who always finger point at others when a man can always finger point to himself. There's a minute left and I can no longer handle him. Fellas, please tell me you can see how stupid he is. This is the prime example of why MGTOW is a shit group, no better than SJWs. They're just less powerful. Have no fear, there will be more. Why? Sandman is to me what Riley J. Dennis is to anti-SJWs.